ABU FM Avon Park. This is Boss Hogg Radio, home of Born to Ride Radio.
I was born to live, live to ride, ride to live. I was born to ride. American built, we forever unite. And that's the deal. I was born to
This is Boss Hogg Radio, home of Born to Ride Radio.
Born to Ride is sponsored in part by Rubenstein Law, 1-800-FL-LEGAL, representing riders since 1988. Offices throughout Florida, 1-800-FL-LEGAL.
Everyone was right, I was born to ride.
Born to Ride is a multimedia marketing and promotional machine with TV, magazines, streaming radio, and internet advertising opportunities. There are tens of thousands of motorcycles. We reach the people who ride them. Born to Ride. Find out more at borntoride.com.
You can join the motorcycle enthusiast conversation at 863-225-2000. Now, here's more of your hosts, Fester Jenkins and Mama Dukes on Born to Ride Radio.
Welcome. It's Thursday evening, September the 24th. You have joined Born to Ride Radio. I'm Fester Jenkins.
I'm Mama Dukes, and we're in the studio with Ron and Debbie Galletti. How are you guys?
Good, Mama. How you doing?
Good.
Welcome back.
What's happening, guys? Big news right off the bat. We got Boss Hogg Radio and Fester Jenkins coming to JF Kicks for the bike night last Tuesday of every month.
In Valrico, Florida.
Yeah, Mama Dukes hopefully will be out there with you too, and they're excited, man.
Oh, yeah.
We're bringing it to Brandon, man. You guys come in loud and clear in Brandon.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it stretches way out into there. Valrico too.
Yes, sir.
But that's good. It's a bike
Oh,
night.
yeah.
It's the last Tuesday of every month. And we want to grow this, people. So, you got to bring Mama from the kitchen. Get them all out. They got great food. It's a great place. And everybody's excited about it.
Looking forward to checking it out there.
We're finally opening up. We got Roscoe's Chili Challenge coming up.
Yep.
The magazine, it has the ads in there, the logos. Boss Hogg's branching out, man, reaching out even more and more.
Just getting bigger and better all the time.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's exciting, that's for sure.
Today we got a great show coming up too, man. Michael Lichter, one of the premier photographers in the motorcycle world. He's like the godfather of motorcycle photography, lifestyle. Featured on the cover of the magazine. We have this issue is the 10 top photos of Michael Lichter. And Dave Nichols is going to be calling in. It should be a great show. So everybody hang on, man. Grab your stuff and don't go away because you want to check this out. It's an exclusive tonight.
Yep. Get up close there to the radio or get up there to the computer and tune in and watch us on Facebook Live there.
Yeah. Can they get the app too?
I was going to say, don't forget the app.
Oh, yeah.
So they go to the app, they can see
You
it as
can
well.
Download it on the Android or iPhone.
Yep.
And that's got great quality. We were up in Georgia in the mountains, and we just plugged right in the Boss Hogg. It was awesome.
Yep.
Because it plays such
Scary
great
and
music.
And if
Great
you miss
music.
it, you can go back and listen to it too. I had to do the Southern Symposium yesterday.
Oh, man, that's awesome. And, you know, something big's happening in Plant City on the 3rd. Besides the Bike Fest, it's the Plant City Bike Fest.
You're right.
And, you know, we got that auction coming up. So John Harris, I think, might be calling to give us an auction update for Ebenezer's place right there in downtown
Yeah, that
Plant
place
City.
is going to be going out of business, and they're liquidating everything. Everything must go. This is no cash reserves. It is an absolute auction.
The property as well. I mean, this whole building is unbelievable building, and there's work bays back there. It'd be great for a bike shop or a car, you know, repair shop, something like that too. It's a great piece of property, and it's all that's not in the absolute auction, the property and the building, but everything in it is going to be sold.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yep. Ebenezer's moving on to different paths and different journeys. And so it's time to liquidate all their assets. Good for them. Congratulations.
When's the auction?
October 3rd.
October 3rd?
Yes.
That should be a Saturday, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Friday will be the place will be open for you to go and preview and look at things, you know, kind of get a feel for just what's going to be at the auction there and everything.
All right. Sounds like fun. Get your wallet.
Yeah.
Oh, there's going to be some great deals there too, man. The whole shop, lifts, tools, tire racks, tires, you know, helmets, bikes. There's like 13 or 14 motorcycles as well.
This cover is amazing. I don't know why I'm so in love with this.
Isn't it cool?
That is just
Now, that's a famous photo from Michael Lichter that's going to be on the air with us tonight. And this is what he's known for, just capturing those moments in motorcycle history that you just wow you. And you just sit there and you keep looking at it. And you're like, now, why do I like this photo? Do I like the bike? Do I like it? It's just kind of everything involved. So it's
definitely a wow photo. That's for sure. It definitely is.
Yeah, and that was during the biker build-off for Discovery Channels, and that's Nick who built that. Nick Fridelia.
looks like he's burning it out and burning the tire too. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's one of Billy Lane's guys. Used to work with him. The guy's got actually some fang teeth too, man. He's really, really cool. He really does. I mean, they're characters, and that's each one of these photos has a story behind it. We're gonna find that out tonight, people. So Michael Lichter's gonna break it down. He's gonna break it down. Every picture, where it was from, what he was thinking. Look at the picture of Michael right there. He looks like a SWAT team guy, man. That's a serious. He is serious, ready to go to battle right there. You know, and
I bet Dave Nichols has some great stories about him too. Dave's, I'm sure, going to call in and call him out on a couple. You know, Dave's got those little things in the closet that he just knows about everyone, and he, he pulls that out when we're interviewing him. So that's pretty cool too.
He definitely pays attention. That's for sure.
And his squeaky chair, Dave. We hear your squeaky chair there. Get you a little WD-40 for that. Oh gosh, but yeah, that was an exciting magazine to lay out and. Work with Michael on that. And, he's got to be careful. A photographer of all these years, a lifetime of photography, of capturing all that, we're in that digital age where people just swipe things and use them for themselves, so all your hard work and all your efforts and, he's got to be protective of his craft and his art and, so people just don't swipe it, steal it and use it for their own benefit. And I know that happens in the music industry all the time too.
Yeah.
So... But it's probably an honor in some respect as well, but not always. But so it was fun laying out the magazine.
I guess the greatest form of flattery is plagiarism.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, to use these photos, we had to give fingerprints and everything. I mean, really, we had to go through a top security clearance to utilize these photos. Not just anybody can use these. I mean, we're very fortunate and honored to be able to work with Michael, and it's big props to a guy like Dave Nichols, who has that Rolodex from hell.
Oh man,
You know,
I mean, it just
he makes the call, man.
every
they
week
answer.
he's just pulling in some of these monsters, in the industry there. That's for
It's
sure.
like
yeah.
never ending.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
And what's cool about that is we back Dave up because then we give the quality content, the design, the layers of media that we give the people that he brings to us that we bring to them. So it's kind of like it's a great circle of really powerful media that on the biker world in a direct market. Right, Deb?
That's
Absolutely.
right. Absolutely. It's been fun. That's for sure. Just, with all the Dave stories and his history and all the people he knows, it's great to start putting that in pages and paper on digital, whatever. It's great to start, telling those stories and backing it all up, that history. A lot of it's forgotten too. Yeah, this magazine also had some really nice curvy layouts this month. Another great photographer, Eric Runyon, on working with Born to Ride, did an awesome job on. He's a good curvy photographer, I call him.
Curvy.
What is there roads?
Yeah,
on it?
it's not the round tires on the bikes either, or the wheels, or the metal sport wheels. It's like the curviness, just the girls, the way they magnify the bikes. They're so pretty, and they do such a great job of that too. And of course, it's Eric's eye. Eric's got that eye. So it turned out to be a great magazine. Proud of it. Hope everybody else is too and enjoying this.
We're all proud.
Like parents every month. Oh, gosh.
It's really amazing to see just in the last couple months with Dave coming on board just how this magazine is evolving. Now, it's always been a great magazine compared to some of the others that you can pick up out and about. But, I mean, it is quickly, just overnight, it is transforming and it's growing. It's getting so much better. Just y'all have got to be just so proud to have been able to have pulled this off.
We are. And what's really nice, too, is it filled a void in the marketplace. We elevated to a certain point, and it just filled a void that's been out there now. And just getting everything all pulled back together and everybody all fired up and cranked up to, just have this motorcycle marketplace, the industry, the community, everything just back on track. It's awesome because it, just fragmented there for such a while. But now I feel like we're all back together. So
Well, Dave's ears must have been burning because Dave's on the line now.
Sizzle.
Hey, welcome, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Thank you. Hey, everybody.
What's happening, Dave? How are you today?
It's another perfect day in paradise. We're upright, walking around. What more can you want, right?
exactly. Amen.
We were
So
we were
we've
just
got,
talking. Sorry, man.
Go ahead.
I was saying we were just talking about the growth of, even in business, 25 years, to have more growth and more excitement and more energy is a good thing. And, bringing you on board with your vision and kind of captain of the ship, leading us through around the icebergs and through the fog and getting to where we want to go, to the sunshine, it's a good thing. And the Rolodex that you have, you could call people on a dime. And like we said today, we have a big show coming up, don't we? We were talking about Michael Lichter.
Oh, yes, we do. The ultimate photographer of the motorcycle lifestyle for over 30 years, the amazing Mike Lichter is going to be with us in a minute. And you know how you and I were talking this afternoon, Ron, about calling Billy Lane, the amazing Billy Lane.
Yes, sir.
So I called up Billy Lane, and he couldn't talk right that minute because, get this, he's shooting a TV show with, what's that big guy's name, Momoa?
Oh, Jason
Aquaman.
Momoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Jason
That
Momoa.
name just didn't roll off your tongue? Jason
You're a girl. You're a girl, so you like that. So I get it. But yeah, Jason Momoa. Billy's building him a couple of bikes. They're doing this TV thing, and it's like he'll get back to me, and it's like, wow, that's kind of cool. There's Jason Momoa right there with his kids, and
So
neat.
Jason's in Florida?
No, Billy Lane's in Carolina.
Yes, he is.
Debbie's
Hey,
like a
Deb,
location.
Deb, he's dangerously close. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh gosh. I wonder if when Billy Lane, if he gets finished with that bike, if I can just go sit on the seat just once.
We might be able to arrange that.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Can I take Jason for a ride? Hold on tight,
Oh,
Jason.
dear.
There
Hey,
comes a
all I want to
pothole.
know is, hey, Ron, is she turning bright red right now?
Yeah, that guy Jason, he's like,
There's
that's
a little bit of
Aquaman.
extra rouge on those cheeks there.
Good
But-
thing I got my water.
But the things that he's produced for Harley, and I mean, what a great guy with great family man who cares about tradition of family and his daughters and having fun building bikes and going to the Harley Museum. We've covered him a lot on the TV show, and he's done some amazing work. The acting thing is one thing, but what he's really about is what he does. Excuse me.
Bless
that's
you.
okay.
Damn, sorry. COVID. Sorry.
Right on.
But
Right
man,
on Tater's microphone.
this is the boss Hogg's radio. This is
Shoot,
boss
you're
himself.
really in trouble. Run now. That's the boss.
Hand
So
sanitizer.
Billy's gonna get back with you, right?
Yes, he will.
He'll get around to
Yes,
it.
he will. And so turning left turn, quick left turning. Mr. Michael Lichter is going to be with us here in just a minute.
Well,
And he has done incredible work for the motorcycle lifestyle and shooting bike features and all the stuff that he is known for. We are honored to have him in Born to Ride magazine this month.
A big time honor. Big
well,
time.
I
honor.
mean, with Dave Nichols, one of the legends in motorcycling right now, on the line also is Michael. Michael, are you there?
I'm here.
Two legends in the field on Born to Ride tonight together. Welcome, guys.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well, brother. It's good to hear your voice.
Nice to be with you all here.
Well, thanks for taking
Yes,
the time,
please.
man, to come onto the show. And, we have the top 10 favorite photos in the magazine this month. And, man, what an honor it is to have your photographs, legendary photographs of the biker lifestyle. And each one has a story. So we'll have to get into that. I just wanted to thank you and bring you onto the show. Everybody's here and we're ready to, move forward on this night.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So where did all this get started? Many, many moons ago, right, Michael?
Well, I guess it's how photography and motorcycles came together. I mean, as far as photography, I was in a darkroom with an uncle at 5 years old, and then just sort of dabbled in it, but not darkroom until 13 when my dad loaned me a camera. And then I loved it so much that I built a darkroom in the basement, in the laundry room, basically, of the house. And I did that for a number of years. I just had a passion for photography. And then as far as motorcycles, I dabbled. Friends let you ride their bikes, and you're a kid, you got on mini bikes, things like that, and saw the film Easy Rider, certainly. But it wasn't until I was already, 20 years old, and a friend of mine loaned me his knucklehead chopper. It had a long Springer front end, very light bike, and it was so fast. And that, I'll tell you, once I got off that, it was like, whoa, I got to get one of these. So that was it. And then those two worlds came together. I think that's what it's about, is like having a passion for stuff, whatever that may be. And it's great when you could blend a couple of your passions together.
That is true. It goes from work to just life, just living and loving life.
And
Exactly.
Michael, I mean, one of the photos we have of you is you with your gear on. You almost look like one of them SWAT team members, man, going in to bust down a door. It really says that you're a very serious kind of guy. And I've seen you in the field, so it's nonstop working, and people can't even talk to you because you're getting your shots. How important is it to be totally 100% on focus when you're in the field doing your job?
Well, if if I'm to do it right, it's 100%. You can't let up. I mean, you got to stay focused. And again, it's with whatever your passion is. You know, what if you're a skier or a water skier or boating, whatever you love to do, and to do anything well, I think you have to be all in, and also you have to be well enough versed that it's automatic, so you don't think about it. And I feel that way about, you know, when I'm taking pictures. If I'm having to think about, how do f-stops work, or which way do I turn the lens, and how do I do this and how do I do that, that every bit of that comes in between you and what you're hoping to do. So the more all that is automated, and when I say automated, of course you can get a fully automatic camera and do that, but I don't do that either. I mean, my cameras are capable of it, but I basically run them on manual typically. Although I love autofocus now as my eyes have gotten worse. But, you know, you got to be so comfortable with whatever you do that, you know, you're all in. That's it.
And what about scouting? I mean, you know, of course, the magical hour is going to be in the morning and the evening time, the magical hour stuff. But I was told that you go out and scout locations the night before, the day before, so you know exactly where you're shooting and what, and how the sun's going to lay. And how important is that to really nail it?
You know, I see both sides of that equation. So I'll be doing, let's say, if I'm shooting a bike, or, you know, I was a commercial photographer for years too, and I started with motorcycles that got me into commercial photography. I started shooting for Easy Riders, and after a year of doing that, I started saying, gee, I have this studio now, and I could do all this, I have lights and cameras, and I started shooting other stuff. And that developed into a career where I was doing annual reports and product photography and advertising, things like that. And for that, scouting was essential because the clients wanted to know exactly what it was. But when it comes to editorial work, I think a lot of it for me is serendipity. You know, I'm thinking the photographs that you have in the magazine there, now, of course, shots from Sturgis, I kind of know the lay of the land. I know what to find there. And certain things you'll set up, but even if you set it up, you have to allow for serendipity. So in a sense, it's like saying, you know, people say, oh, you're so lucky. You got that rainbow, you know? I mean, yeah, I was lucky, but I only got 2 frames in on that shot that's called After the Storm from 1980. And it wasn't scouted. I was with a bunch of guys. We were going to the drag races in Bellefouche, and I was ready. And it was just a short break in the rain, like seconds almost. And the sun came out, which caused an instant rainbow. I got the shot. There were 2 frames, and one was better than the other, and that was it. So, you know, you got to be ready more than anything. You know, you have to have your ducks in a row. And I do go scout sometimes, and I don't think there's the only picture that would be close to saying that I scouted in the magazine is a shot of Billy Lane where he's on his 1919 Harley. And it was shot in 2019, which is cool. So it was 100 years old when we were shooting it. And, boy, he's got this great expression on his face. So you could say, how cool, you know, you were there when you got that. Well, the truth was the light was looking great. It looked like it was getting better. And sometimes when that happens, I'm desperate. I got to go, what am I going to shoot? The light's great. I got to find something to shoot. And I was talking to Billy, and he said, wow, yeah, but I don't have a bike here. He said, you know, Rhett's got my bike. I said, well, what if I get it? And he goes, cool. So I go up to the Wall of Death. It's, you know, a half mile away. And Rhett, and he's going, what? You want me to drag the bike out of the Wall of Death? I said, yeah, please. The light's getting great. We got to get Billy on it. And he helps get it out, and we get it down to the track, and Billy lights it up, and, you know, he throws some stuff on, and he takes a few laps, and the light was perfect, and he's happy as can be. And you can go, hey, how lucky that I was there that I got the shot. But, you know, I did get the bike there, and the light was right, and I kind of made it happen. You know, he throws some stuff on, and he takes a few laps. But I didn't tell him, hey, I want a big smile from you. I just go out there and ride.
And how do you get a shot like that, though? I mean, your settings on the camera, is that auto? Is it a sports thing where it goes and pick out the best one?
I'd say there were 3 frames in that sequence. So even if I'm doing a motor, I used to have cameras that were like super fast. Right now I don't have the top of the line Nikons. What they call their D models, the D5, for example. I had the D1, D2, D3, D4, all those. And then I've gone to their one model down from there. They're a lot lighter. They don't operate as fast, like you're saying, like a machine gun there. But it does what I needed to do. And in that case, there was follow focus, because I can't focus that quick. So it did have the focus. But, you know, I had the framing. I had everything the way I wanted it. So it works.
And how important is it to bring out the personality? Like when you see this photo with Billy, you're like, wow, that's him. You know, it brings out personality. It's an art form.
Well, to me, with that shot of Billy, I've known Billy for 20 years, and I shot the first bikes of his. I picked it out and shot it for Easy Riders, and the next year 2 more bikes, the next year 3 bikes, and you know, so his career and my photography of him kind of line up. And I actually did a book on him around 2005 or so, I don't remember, an entire book on Billy that he wrote, and I did the photography. But and Billy, as we all know, has had some big ups and some big downs. And I call this shot Happy Times, because to me, I looked at it and I go, wow. I mean, it could have been anyone with a smile like that, and I could have said that. But for me, it had more of significance, because I know through some of the stuff he's been through, and to see him that happy and that in the moment, and like you're saying, you know, 100% there, he's all in. He's one with what he's doing. And that's kind of what I love to photograph, is when people are one with what they're doing. They're all in.
He's just lost in the moment. He's not thinking about someone being photographed. He just looks genuine. He's just enjoying being there in the moment, on the motorcycle there.
Exactly.
Well, you know,
the shot. I'm sorry?
I was going to say, a guy like Billy has had some adversity, and this is almost like an awarding photograph of his success, or breaking through to the other side and just being at one and being happy, you know, and it exemplifies that.
Thank you. I agree. Yeah, there's a shot of Nick was kind of working with Billy some years ago. There's a shot that I call Nick's Ecstasy that you printed. And, he's got his arms out, and the chest is glistening. You see the ribs and the smoke, and it was so bright. The time of day when you really don't want to be shooting. But it all worked together. And, again, there's Nick in the moment. Like, a lot of people were taking pictures of him. And I love the shot I got. It has, I don't know, to me it has, just takes it to a different level. But again, it's not, you got to make a photograph. You got to put things in the right position. There's a shot of Puppy. Now that's a shot, when I said about scouting, this is probably the most posed shot. It definitely is the most posed shot, because we said, let's go ride, and I wanted to get some riding shots up. And he just stands up on his seat, and he's going by Bear Butte. But when I say you make a photograph, it's like, you could just snap it, but you're not thinking about everything else that's there. And I think you have to look at everything right to the edges. You have to look at every piece of what makes an image, not just the subject, because anybody can do that with their cell phone. They say, oh, look at the shot I got of him surfing on his bike. But they don't see all the other stuff. And if you look at that photograph closely, and you look at the way the hands, they give this forward motion to him and to the bike, and the blur of the pavement, which is from a slow exposure, and the way his arms just frame Bear Butte Mountain in the background. That's what I call making a photograph.
Yeah.
You put everything in the right place.
It's perfectly framed, and it's just that thing that in the old days when you did the darkroom stuff, you have to wait till it comes out in the water, and you come out and you go, oh, look at what I got. Now it's more, you can see it quicker. But, getting back to Nick's Ecstasy, that is the picture we chose for the cover of the magazine. So that is the featured bike for the cover. It was between that one and Billy's. But Billy's just looks so nice as a portrait in one full page. Nick's shot just did something, and they were just commenting here in the studio how cool that photo is. And that was during a biker build-off, right? Where was that taken?
No, actually, we were up in Sundance, Wyoming, and they do that. What do they call it? Something Wednesday, Weenie Wednesday, or whatever it is. And
when the cops used to come down there all the time and bust everybody.
Well, actually, it was pretty cool in Wyoming. The people go up there, and there were tens of thousands of people. We had lots of fun up there. So Billy comes on his bike. So this is 2002 in Sundance, And I actually got 2 photos that day that I was really happy with. The other one is a shot of Billy doing a burnout that I don't show as much because of all the stuff that he went through. But in this shot of Nick, we went up there, and he did the burnout, and Billy did a burnout. It got really wild. And Billy just toasts his bike. And it was not a biker build-off. We were just out having fun. And then he totally torches his tire. I mean, there's nothing left of his back tire. I'm talking about, in this case, Billy, who's doing a burnout just within minutes of Nick there. And we're all done. It's like, hey, Billy, that's really cool, but, like, now what? And he hadn't thought about that part. You know, we're 60 miles from Sturgis, and he's got no back tire on. So what we ended up doing, I had an assistant there that was in my truck. So we threw his bike in the truck, and then I let Billy ride my Road King. And he'd, like, I don't think he'd ever been on a bike with saddlebags and a tour pack or something, you know. And he rode my bike back to town. I jumped in the truck, and we hauled it back for him. But, yeah, he hadn't thought that far ahead, but he was in the moment, right?
I mean, each photo has a million words to go with. They say a photo is worth 1,000,000 words or 1,000 words. And, you know, the photographer really knows, and when he actually sees it, to pick the shot that you want to use, it has a lot of meaning. Faces in the city park. Now, that's a cool shot, and it's kind of, you feel the 80s when you look at that, because one of the guys has a shirt that says F Iran, and I had to blur out the F word for the magazine, but it captivates a time in America, you know, when Americans were against Iran and all that stuff. But tell me about that photograph, because there's some serious people having some serious fun, but they look pretty serious as well.
Well, you know, they're looking at what's going on behind me, which happened to be on top of a school bus in City Park. And that's another story. But a lot of times, you know, you'll have these, whatever you want to call them, these, you know, wet T-shirts or beyond competitions. And to me, I sometimes get more pleasure and find it more interesting to look at not this, what's drawing the attention, but really to look at everybody else. And that's what this photo is all about, is really, you know, I call it faces. And to me, it captures the time, because this was about 2 years before Harley started enforcing their trademark. You know, so you may see a little bit of Harley stuff in there, but for the most part, yeah, it's just people wear a shop because they work at the farm supply shop down the road, and the boss gives them a T-shirt, and you wear a button-down shirt, or I mean, it's just a shirt. I remember at that time, I'd go like, "Why do you want me to buy a Harley shirt? They should pay me. They should give them away at least for free. Like, why should we be advertising for them?" I never did understand that, and that's, I wasn't the only one. I think a lot of people felt that way then.
And but, billions of dollars later.
Yeah. That's right. But, you know, you look at the faces, and each face is a story. Every person has a story. And I look at this, and you think of the time. So this was shot in August of 1980. So when you think about it, the election happened in November, right?
Right.
That was when Carter was leaving.
Exactly. This is a middle of the Iran hostage crisis. That's what's going on here. Right?
And what
fuel shortages, in the middle of the Iran hostage crisis. Carter was president, and, you know, they were released on January 20th of 1981, right?
When Reagan came in.
That's what's going on. But anyway, I love being able to look at layers. You know, you look deeper and deeper in a photograph, and just, you know, kind of imagine people's stories and the times, and I love that. And to me, photography is very much about history as well.
Well, it's a time capsule.
Yeah, well, you could tell a story of a country. Yeah, I really felt this when I went and photographed in Cuba around 2000. I went down a couple times, I think 2009 and 2011. And I took photographs of the Harleystas down there. And I was so enamored with the photos that I did, and with the culture and the life.
What about the pastel colors and stuff, too, over there in Cuba?
Oh, I mean, that's all wonderful. I mean, I just had such a great time. But looking at the pictures as a body of work, I thought, wow, this really tells the story of Cuba, right? I mean, the bikes they were using are all from the 50s, right? Panheads are older knuckleheads, and because everything was frozen in time. They had nothing that was imported. And so even though you're looking at this subculture, the bikers, it tells the story of the bigger culture, the bigger society. And I think, you know, I got that when I went to Cuba. Now, you know, kind of looking back at my work, I sense it in my work too, that you look through time and you see even little glimpses, maybe not so much in the photos we selected today, but sometimes, well, even sort of City Park where you see the black and white of the guy camped out with the prosthetic leg next to him. And, a bunch of panhead choppers, black and white, just parked, and they're sleeping out next to their bikes. You don't see that much anymore. So it's sort of this time in history when people did that, and things change. So in a lot of ways, the history of bikers through my photography is also the history of the country.
Of course, I agree. Now, getting back to the faces in City Park, the guy in the middle has that Serpico Al Pacino look, and it's almost like a portrait, but it's reminds me of a photo I would see in the 60s or 70s or even the 80s of in Life magazine. It, like I said, it captivates a time in America of the lifestyle of people. No matter what they're doing, you're captivating a lifestyle in a moment right there. It's right there, but it could be a Life magazine photograph because it shows personalities.
Well, thank you. There's another black and white in there that I call What's Up, of a girl that she's just looking straight into my camera. She's got her hands up, and she's clearly going like, what the hell are you doing? What are you looking at, right? And her friends are having so much fun.
That's a lot of emotion there.
There's so much going on. But here's another shot where I talk about detail to the edges. So I had about 5 frames that I had. I didn't print this for years. There were about 5 frames of this scene building up to this last shot. And I didn't print it for a long time, and I realized why. Now, of course, you're just seeing this. You don't see the frames leading up to it. The frames leading up to it showed, like, this frame that I think really captures the situation. It's like this circle, okay? Think of it as a clock, and I'm at the bottom at 6 o'clock, and she's at the center of the clock, and the people behind her at 12, and the guy on the right's at 4. We have this entire circle around this girl, and all this fun is happening, and everybody's focused on her, and they're focused on the camera, and all this other stuff's going on. And the shots prior to it, the guy on the right that you may not have noticed, you may not have, he's missing an arm. And the other shots were too focused on him. It was too clear that he was missing an arm. And it became too much about him and missing all his other stuff. And to me, what this is about is like, this is such a cool photograph about inclusivity. So it reminds me of Cher's film, Mask, where her son had that horrible degenerative disease where he was disfigured, and a lot of self-pity going on. And then she gets involved with a motorcycle club, and these guys come around, and they look at him, and they go, stop feeling bad for yourself. Get off your ass and get out there. Stop doing that, You're just another person. And that's kind of the way I feel about this. It's like this guy's just part of the thing. He's got beer in his hand. He's checking her out just the way the person on the left. Beer in the hand, checking her out. Everybody's part of the same situation. And just a little finishing touch, which goes to my thing about looking at everything right to the edges, is the stoner in the upper right with the mirrored glasses.
I was going to say he looks like one of the Bros Clubs or Freak Freddy from the Freak Brothers.
Exactly. He just kind of, he was probably out of frame and just tilted his friend, his head into the frame perfectly to get his stoner head in there saying, hey, I'm doing a little cameo performance here, like Alfred Hitchcock puts himself into a film.
Michael, if you can hold for a second. We've gotten so enthralled. I'm about almost 20 minutes behind on our break here. We're gonna do a break, and we'll be right back to you. And we've got Eric Runyon on the line too. Okay, so hold on, everyone, guys.
Right, sure.
Okay. Oh, let's turn
Check
this
out
off.
the all-new BornToRide.com with radio, TV, industry, adventure, events, magazine, social media, and much more. It's the all-new BornToRide.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein, and this is Rubenstein's Rules for Personal Injury. Rule number 1. Get an attorney. When you or a loved one have been injured by another's negligence, an experienced attorney can make a huge difference. At Rubenstein Law, we will find all of the insurance, make sure your injuries are documented, and work to get you the best result. While each case is different, a well-known insurance company's own study showed people with a lawyer on average got more money. Call Rubenstein Law at 1-800-FL-LEGAL.
Find us on Facebook, Born to Ride TV and magazine, the ultimate multimedia biker experience.
This is Boss Hogg Radio, home of Born to Ride Radio. You can join the motorcycle enthusiast conversation by calling 863-225-2000.
Okay. Welcome back to Born to Ride Radio. That was a short, quick break. You see, not very long at all. I'm Fester Jenkins. I've got Mama Dukes in the studio with us. And, of course,
Hello.
you know.
Ron and Debbie Galletti.
And we've got Dave Nichols, Michael Lichter. And
Eric?
we're going to be coming up with Eric here in just a moment. But Dave and Michael, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, awesome.
Mike, one thing, getting back to the What's Up picture, when you can captivate emotion, I think you captivated here. It's cool because the two dudes in the front are looking back like, whoa, what did she say? Or something's going on. But the joy on the girl's face, you know, beyond her to her left, that's captivating joy. And I think life is an emotion, like a roller coaster. And right there, you caught. Isn't it cool when you can catch that type of emotion and ultimate joy? Bam, there it is.
You know, it's funny, that woman in the center there, or actually her friend next to her, to me, I think the word joy is great. I think she's like the happiest person I've ever seen in my life right there. She's just having so much fun, right?
Have you ever heard from her since? Wouldn't that be cool if they wait, that's me in that photo?
Yeah.
You know, so many people do identify themselves. Like in Early Morning, the photograph with the prosthetic leg, that was shot in 1979, but it wasn't until about 2002 somebody came up to me on the streets in Sturgis and said, "Do you recognize me?" And I said, "Nope." And then he lifts up his jeans, and I see a peg leg, and I said, "Early Morning?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's me." And we became friends after that. It was nice. We got to know each other pretty well. A lot of people have identified themselves in my photographs, but that was not one of them. I'm surprised that I haven't ever heard anybody that knew her identified her.
Michael, out of all the photos, all the years, do you have one that is just like your heart, that your favorite photo of all time?
Wow, I mean, that'd be like me choosing between my son and daughter.
Right. It's got to be the next one.
You know, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't even think you love them each for their own unique characteristics, right? And different times I like different things, and so I mean, there's definitely photos that we picked these 10, and it's kind of funny that I put in such a recent photograph. I usually sit on images for a number of years before I print them, but that shot of Billy. That I called Happy Times. I just saw that and I said, I just loved it. Again, sometimes I find when I look at a photograph of somebody that looks happy and looks like they're having so much fun and see the joy in it, it makes you, I find it makes you feel good myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's that emotion that we capture and we want to give it to the world, and hopefully they'll feel that emotion for that moment in time and they'll feel that same emotion. I want to ask you, though, about Early Morning. So what, you're just walking up or you're with some guys, you ride up, and all of a sudden you see this scene, Early Morning, a prosthetic laying up on that bike, and the guys, tell me about that photo, because that's another Life magazine-style photograph that just, it's a wow factor that really puts you, and then if you think deeper, you say, damn, that dude's out here doing his thing, and if you think you're having a bad day, this guy's not having a bad day. You could learn from this. It's an inspiring photograph as well as dynamic. Tell me about that.
He's not using limitations to hold him back.
No,
that's
man.
for sure.
And, so that photo has so much meaning if you really want to slice it and dice it, but just the feel of it right now, to me, it looks like a 1960s biker movie shot back in the hills somewhere. But tell me about that photo, man, because it's unbelievable.
Well, it was 1979, so it was my second time riding to Sturgis, but the year before I rode up a week after the rally. So we were working on my bike, and it just wasn't done in time, and I thought, well, shit, I'll just go, I'm sure there'll be people there, so I go up a week late, right? And I didn't see a bike anywhere, I swear. I just kept going. I rode right up to Canada and then continued over to the East Coast. That just became a road trip. But this year, so 79 was the first year I got there for the rally. And the rally used to be really a weekend event for most people. And mostly like they were from Wyoming and Nebraska and Kansas, Colorado, surrounding states. And a lot of people, they'd leave on a Friday after work, or if you could, you take Friday off. I went up with a group of people Friday morning. We got up there in time for the party Friday night, and it was just all night, you know. And I don't know that I ever went to bed, but I was sleeping just a little to the right. There was a tree, and I was sleeping on the other side of the tree. I had a sleeping bag, no tent. But and I don't know if I lay down or if I never even lay down, but light was coming up, and I took a little walk, and this guy was right near me. And, you know, it's funny because now it would have been shot in color because digital is like, you could even have it set on black and white, but it's actually capturing in color. The black and white's a preference, but the file is still in color. And I probably would have snapped a bunch and say, oh, this is an amazing scene, you know, and shoot it from different angles. And it's funny to look back through the negatives, and there's 2 negatives. And I'd say they were I was probably 2 to 3 feet apart between the 2 images being made. And this was just better. You know, I picked one, went with it. And actually, it was one of the first images that Easy Riders printed because I sent them 10 black and white prints, and this is one of them. And I sent that probably in September of 79. And they printed it. And it's to me, it does capture a time. Yeah, it's a simpler time. You look at the pup tents and people sleeping out. I mean, he's just wrapped in a moving blanket, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
Yeah, they're probably rolled up on his bike after that.
I think it says Mayflower on there.
Yeah, you look at the way I'm dressed up. You have that picture of me with all I look like my goodness.
SWAT guy.
Drop me into some war zone or something, right? And I'm not proud of that fact. I mean, this is from years of experience. I have knee pads on all the time because I'm on my knees all the time. And I have clips to hold different cameras because digital, I don't like to change lenses because the chips get dirty. So I have 2 cameras or 3 cameras, whatever I need. And I have everything on me, and it's all, I can grab it, and I have the tools of the trade. And back then I had 1 camera, it had 1 lens on it, it was black and white film. And so life was simpler for me. It was simpler for the people around me. And also, people weren't as conscious. I mean, I guess they were conscious. It was more unusual to have your picture taken, but at the same time, people didn't make a big deal over it. Whereas now everybody poses. You lift up your cell phone and everybody smiles and does all this stuff, right? Everybody is so used to having their picture taken and taking pictures. So it almost makes things a little bit more challenging that way. But, I always loved that photo.
Well, I mean, it's an awesome photo, but what you've done is captivate a lifestyle. And, like raising the flag at Iwo Jima, I mean, how important was that photograph to America at the time? It just raised everybody's awareness to fighting and supporting the war and to win. And when you look at your photos through the years, I think you've touched so many. We haven't even talked about your Easy Rider days and how all that happened and started. But one thing that you have done, you've inspired and influenced so many other photographers to get out and do what you do. Speaking of that, we have one of the greatest photographers around, Eric Runyon, who actually is part of our staff, and he's been wanting to have I think he might have a question for you, man. He's pretty happy about getting a chance to talk to you.
Eric had photos in one of my exhibitions in Sturgis.
Yeah, so
I curate these exhibitions, I produce them, and Eric was one of the photographers in one of them a few years ago.
Well, let's hear what Eric's got because he's been holding for a while, and he's just got a lot of energy too, and that's what you do. You inspire others, and what a great segue into Eric Runyon, man.
You still there, Eric?
Hey guys.
Hey.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
What's up, Eric?
You know what? I'll tell you what. I did not mind being on hold because I've been to several events with Michael Lichter, covering the same events. And as he just said, he was so super nice to ask me to be in one of his shows a few years ago. But the thing is earlier in the show, he was talking about being focused, and you got to be all in. And I swear, every event that I'm in with him, I don't know he's there because we're so focused on what we're doing. We kind of see each other, but we don't notice each other. And then I usually notice him at the end of the event while he's riding off, and I feel like an idiot because I didn't say hi or bye or anything. But that just goes to what he's saying. You know what I mean? You're so focused, you're laser focused that you don't even notice. So we shoot a lot of the same things, but we we barely talk to each other just because we're so focused. So as long as I've known him, it's been nice to hear these stories because it would be great for me. I would love to sit down and pick his brain like you guys have been doing because the stories have been fascinating and it's just been a joy to listen to. And like I said, I've heard Mike talk more in the last 35 minutes than I have in the last 10 years. So.
Yeah. It's true. It's amazing to talk about how the photo came about. So we're excited.
I can tell you this about being motivating and motivating other photographers is, I found throughout my research when we were doing research for the magazine, one of the things about Michael was that back in his early days, he was a drummer. And I was happy about that because I went to school on a drum scholarship. So I was like, oh, every time we do one of these radio shows, I learn something new. So I was pretty excited about that. But, you guys asked him a few minutes ago what his favorite photograph was. And he couldn't pick it out. I can understand why. But I can tell you what my favorite photograph of his is. And it changed my life, and it made me the person that I am today. And that is a little backstory is I kind of, I shot commercial and fashion and stuff. And for a friend, I came on and worked with a production company for Discovery Channel for a show called Cafe Racer several years ago. I kind of fell into motorcycle photography by accident. I always loved photography and I always loved motorcycles, but I never put two and two together until then. So it was kind of fun, and I enjoyed it. And I have the photographer that really made me sit up and take notice was Michael Lichter. I went to the Guggenheim sponsor of the Art of the Motorcycle show at the local museum in Orlando, and it blew my mind. And Mike had some work there, and I just thought it was awesome. Well, the one photograph that I saw that just did it for me, and I said, if I can do this, if I can create this type of image for the rest of my life, that's what I want to do. And it's a shot, you guys were talking about Billy Lane. It was a shot of Billy, and it was an old panhead. I'm not sure where it is, but he's all tucked in on his panhead, and he's kind of looking off over his left shoulder. And he's got his hand up to his mouth. He's got sunglasses on, and the wind's just blowing his hair out.
Isn't it a profile shot?
It's like a profile shot. It's landscape set up, but there's so much energy there. I mean, to me, that photo is very serendipitous. That you see this guy in his element. You see, even though he's got sunglasses on and he's got a bandana on and you can't barely see his face because of his hair and the wind and everything, you can tell that he's in his element. That's where he wants to be, and that's where his love is, and that's where his passion is. And there's just so much about that photograph that I was like, if I could do that, if I could even scratch the surface of what Michael Lichter did with that photograph, that's what I want to do. So here we are.
Well, thank you, Eric.
Well, it's been 11 years, and it's been my full-time job since then. It's motorcycle photography, and I really have Mike to thank for the inspiration for that.
Well,
thank you.
That's awesome.
I mean, I
got goosebumps on that.
I usually say, "Can I testify?" but you just did, man. And
That's cool.
but it's like a surfer. We asked Michael earlier, well, "What's your favorite photo?" It's got probably the next one. It's like a surfer looking for that ultimate wave. You can never find it because when you do, you're done. So I mean,
thing is,
that's true.
The thing about the
That's
ultimate wave
absolutely
thing
true.
is,
if
in
you
my
didn't,
mind,
you don't want to be done.
In my mind, he caught the wave with that photograph. But I don't know if he's like me, but I never think I catch the waves. A lot of times I think I almost got it, but nope. So you just keep trying again. So, art is in the eye of the beholder, but I just love that photograph. And you talk about catching the wave. That one was the big kahuna. He caught that one. And like I said, it really changed my life, and it made me helped make me the career that I have today.
Wow. Michael, do you know what shot he's talking about?
Yeah, actually, it's interesting you mentioned photos worth 1,000 words, but photos for a photographer, the images that I produced, and you can imagine how many over more than 40 years of shooting motorcycling. He mentions that photo. I know it. They're burned into me the way it's burned into photographic paper. I know that image. And there's a story, too, because the night before, I remember we met up that morning in Albuquerque, and I was a little late because I was supposed to come in the night before, but I was riding my bike down from Colorado, and I got to Raton Pass, and it was snowing, and I stopped, and I was thinking about going for it, but then I stopped in the truck stop, and people were coming saying, how bad it was. It was pretty deep on top, and it was dark, and I was already freezing. So I holed up that night and got up the next morning. It was beautiful out, and I was able to go, and the snow was on the side of the roads, but the road itself was wet. It was just perfect. It was so gorgeous going over the pass. I got to Albuquerque, met up with Billy, and we started out. We were riding to Vegas together, and so we were just side by side, and I'm on my bike and clicking photos here and there, and got that shot. But as Eric said, and people always say, when I'm done with the shoot, they go, "Oh, you get a great shot," and I go, "Oh, I'm the last person that would." I don't think I've ever in my life said I got a great shot after doing a shoot, because let me look. I'm sure I'm going to find something wrong with it because I'm very critical with myself, and I always find fault in something. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. I mean, I'm comfortable with it because to me it makes me strive to do better. And I want to go out again. I want to keep shooting. I'm 65 now, and I still feel like there is so much that I want to do. I mean, I can't wait for this COVID to be over. I want to jump on the bike, and I actually want to I haven't done it in years where I just not go into an event, where I just get on the bike and I want to go photograph, and I don't even care what.
That's cool.
Making art happen. I ask everybody this, Michael, what's the secret to the success that you've had to last this long and to keep winning in this industry of ours? What's the success to someone out there thinking that they can't accomplish something that they really want to do?
Well, for me, and it'd be interesting to hear Dave Nichols' take on this, because he's watched my career from the outside, but been very much a part of it. But I never say I'm done. I get shut down because things end or the light's gone. But I always think, it could change. I got a shot, but it may get better. Things can happen and may get better. So I don't want to lighten up. And, it's hard. I know a lot of people when I get out and people want to chat, and I never want to appear rude, so I like to say hello and stuff, but I do try to, I don't want to break my focus too much and get back to it, if you know what I mean. But it's part of that tenaciousness of saying that I got to keep going. I want to keep going. When I come back from Sturgis, I'm riding down Highway 85 on my bike, and I have some exhibition images that I have from riding home from Sturgis and shooting from the bike. But I feel I'm all energized, and I'm just bummed out. On that Sunday when I ride home, I'm so bummed out that it's over. I go, God, if there could have only been just 1 or 2 more days. Just 1 or 2. Now, keep in mind, I've already been there for 15 days. A lot of people 3 or 4, they had enough.
Well, Michael,
just a little more.
Michael, we're starting to run out of time. We got to do part 2 of this.
That's
but
right,
Dave
part
Nichols,
2.
how can you close this out in 30 seconds or so, man? I mean, how powerful was this show for everybody listening?
Cliffhanger.
Absolutely. Well, let me just say that if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And Mike and I have been very blessed to love motorcycles and to do something where we get to translate that love into a livelihood. So we've been extremely blessed, but it's something anyone can do out there. And yes, it is true. The next one is always the one that you're striving for. There's a saying in the TV and movie industry, what have you done lately? And so for people like Michael and I know it's like we're always pushing forward. What's next? What's bigger? Where's another mountain we can climb? And friends, that's what it's all about. There's nobody better at what he does than Mr. Michael Lichter, and it's an honor to have you with us on Born to Ride, Mike.
Well,
absolutely.
These are great stories. Can we get part 2 next week, Mike? You think we could arrange that maybe?
Oh, whenever you want to do it.
Man, we
Awesome.
we didn't even talk about Easy Rider yet.
Where's the cheering
So
party?
that's
The
it.
cheering.
We have an exclusive. Do we have this cheering?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we'll have an exclusive next week. We're going to bring Mike back because there's so much more we want to talk about the art of photography. And Dave and and Eric, thanks for calling in. And what a great show, man. How can they get in touch with you real quick, Mike? Your website.
Oh, it's lichterphoto.com, www.lichterphoto.com. And my social media is Michael Lichter Photography. So Instagram would be the ampersand or at symbol Michael Lichter Photography.
Awesome.
The
same for Facebook, yeah.
The true godfather of motorcycle lifestyle photography. And we can't thank you enough. And we're sending you the magazines in the mail, so you'll get them. And we can't, it's an honor, man.
Thank you so much,
Thanks, guys.
Dave, Michael,
All right, guys,
and
thanks
Eric.
for all of you. And Dave,
Thank you,
Dave,
guys.
thanks for all those shoots you sent me out on.
We're going to
Thanks,
get
guys.
to that next week. We're going to get all the stories of the early Easy Rider days.
Checks in the mail.
Okay.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, thank you
Thanks.
very much for having me on.
Awesome,
All right,
man.
thank
Awesome,
you.
awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Wow.
Okay, guys. You've been listening to Born to Ride Radio on the Boss Hogg Radio Network. Until next week, be safe, keep it in between the ditches, and we'll see you next week.
Wow, man.
Okay.
If Instagram is your thing, we're there. We're everywhere. Follow us at #Born to Ride Motorcycle Media, your #1 motorcycle resource.
Yeah, I have to say, Born to Ride has been a big influence on my trailer sales in the last 2 or 3 months. It's been nothing but a big surprise. I mean, the magazine articles, everything in the commercials, it's been nothing but the best of help to me in my business.
Is your business becoming invisible? Create a great advertising relationship today with Born to Ride. Call 888-795-5779.
This is the Boss Hogg Radio Network. 1170 AM WKFL Bushnell. 1330 AM WWAV Lakeland Plant City. 1360 AM WHNR Cypress Gardens Winter Haven. And 1390 AM and 107.5 FM WAVP and W298BU FM Avon Park.